Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Erin, and today we are doing update number 10 for my rolling 10 pan project pan for 2023. So we are nearing the end of the year and I'm kind of in crunch time with my progress, but we do have 3 rollouts today. So that is very exciting, which means we also have 3 roll-ins. So I will kind of address a little bit of something maybe, but I got a new camera, so I'm still working out the kinks with different things, with the sound, with the focus, all that stuff. So please bear with me while I am learning this new camera. I actually just spent like the last 45 minutes trying to troubleshoot something and I wanted to throw it out the window. But it is expensive, so I'm not going to do that. But let me go ahead. I have my products down here. I have my spreadsheet over here. So let's go ahead and roll into this. But before I do that, a few videos ago, I did a kind of like a let's talk about project panning type video. And I went over all my spreadsheets and I shared a like link to my spreadsheets to like a Google Drive to where you can copy and paste how I do my inventories and everything. I forgot to go over my spreadsheets for how I track my project pan, so I will make sure to tack that onto the end of this video. I'll also make sure to drop that shareable link down in the description box so that if you didn't catch that video and you want to have, I guess, copies of my spreadsheets of how I track all my progress, that will be linked down below. And like I said, I'll do a little segment at the end of this video. But now we can get into the project pan progress. So let me do my rollouts real quick and then we'll do progress and then we'll do roll-ins. I know I keep doing my those 3 categories in different orders in different videos. I don't know what I like sticking with, but I also don't want to leave you guys in suspense with these rollouts. So the first rollout is one that has been in the project the longest, and that is my NARS foundation. So this is the Soft Matte Complete Foundation, and this is a whopping, 1.5 fluid ounces. So this is a foundation and a half. And so I do have my marks on the side. So last month we were all the way down to here and I was able to use up the rest of this. So let me look at my numbers for this project. And I have puppy dog noises. My old dog is having some issues with his elbows, and so I have like 4 different dog beds in here and I'm trying to get him to settle down and not hurt his elbows on the hard floor anymore. But with this one, I think I rolled this in back in March. So this has been in the project since March, which boggles my mind. But last month we were at 31.79, completely empty. Like I squeezed as much out of here as I could. I tried to take the tip off, but I felt like I would just kind of like gnarl up the packaging if I went too hard on it. But empty, we are looking at 22.78 grams. I was able to use it 19 times in October, and I used 9.01 grams of it to empty it. Now that is along the lines of like the most uses that I've had, and in only 19 uses, but I think I was just going hard at it. I was not mixing as much of my BB cream in with this, and so I was able to go ahead and get this used up. Now from the very beginning, I think I had only used this like 1 or 2 times before rolling it into the project, but over the course of me tracking it this year, I used this foundation 161 times. I think this is a $40 foundation, and so for $40, I kind of feel like, what is it? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, so 8 months. 8 months worth of use and 161 applications, and I use quite a bit of foundation, so if you use less than me, then you're getting even more. For some of you out there, this foundation could probably last you a year, and that's incredible. But this is rolling out. It's finally done. I did wear it in the shade Yukon, and so I'm happy to have this rolled out and done. When did I purchase this? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I haven't filmed in a while because I was waiting on my new camera and then we were busy with other stuff. So I kind of feel out of practice and rusty, but I bought this in 2020. So finally, after 3 years, this is gone and out of my collection. My next rollout shouldn't be a surprise, but that is my e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. This was the last of my original ones before they re-released it and I picked up some more. And so this one, I only rolled this in 3 months ago. At the beginning of August is when I started using it. So last month we were at 30.27 grams. Empty, we're at 18.49. I was able to use this 22 times and for a total of 11.78 grams of product to go ahead and get this empty. I didn't cut this open because I felt like I got pretty much everything out of it that I wanted, and I did end up getting 58 uses out of this. Usually I can get about 64 to 65 out of these, and so I don't know if there's a big difference between the last ones and this one. I would have to go back and look at some of my weights, but again, happy to get more of these rolled out because I did pick up 4 more over the summer. And then my last rollout is going to be my big old pan of my Franken bronzer. And so this one, I thought I was going to be done with this one in September, but this ended up lasting me until the very last day of October. Like, I was really trying to get the last of this used up. So this was a bunch of different bronzers combined together, plus my Hourglass powder, the dim light powder, not dim light, mood light powder, and so I had all that mixed in here. So that means that I ended up using up a $50-something powder mixed into my bronzer, which again is great for my inventory and great for my end of the year numbers. And so on this, I was just weighing the pan. So last month we were at 12.47. I did use this 20 times in October, and the empty pan is 10.05. So I used 2.42 grams of this, and really once I ran out of my debronzy, which I panned in my deck of panning, which I'll link up above. So once I was done with that, I was using a little bit more bronzer to come down my neck and do my chest. But I think that's how I got through the rest of it, because I was like, I am not rolling into November with this. So this bronzer is out of the way, and I am able to focus on my bronzer that is in my deck of panning. And again, I will have that linked up in the eye. So those were my 3 rollouts, and those were kind of, oh, let me tell you, the bronzer took me 150 uses to use it up. So again, that was a long haul item. That one had been in since sometime in April, either late April or early May is when I rolled that one in. So again, long time to have those products in, but again, I'm glad to get the long haul products out of my collection. But let me go ahead and roll into our progress, and I always go in the order that they are listed on my spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and we will start with my MAC paint pot, and this is where we're at. So I did, and again, I'm trying to work on the focus, but I'll always have my B-roll come up so you guys can see up close and personal what these look like. But again, I did push all my product to the side. I'm using it out of this little corner. Last month we were at 49.87. Now we're at 49.49. So I did use this 21 times in October and for 0.38 grams of usage. Again, I only have the 2 more months to use this, and I'm really concerned about whether or not I'll be able to use this up in the 2 months. But hey, I'm going to keep using it every day as an eyeshadow primer. I think I really am going to miss it when it's gone, but glad to get 21 more uses on that one. The next item, as I have everything click-clack in my basket, is my Tarte, what is this? I don't actually ever say what this is, but this Twinkle Volume 2, and it's mainly because I do have some Franken highlighters in here. So on this one, How do I usually hold it? I think like this. I'm telling you, I'm so rusty, but I am mainly working on this shade down here, and this is the repressing of Fenty's Mean Money and Hustler Baby, and so as you can see, I have some pretty good pans in there. I also did expand the pan in this shade here. I've been wearing a lot of cool tone eye looks, mainly because of what has been rolling into my No Pan Left Behind prompt, and so, which No Pan Left Behind, I'll link it up in the eye, I've been tracking all year. And so I have been dipping into this one a little bit more for cool tone looks, but I am thrilled to have more pan on there. I'm not going to repress it yet. I want to get that pan pretty big in the middle before I repress it, but I'm still worried about whether or not I will be able to finish up this pan of product by the end of the year, but steady progress. So we were at 117. 0.11 last month. We're at 116.4. I used it 20 times for 0.71 grams. So a little bit more in usage, but overall I am super thrilled with the progress and hitting more pans in that highlighter. Let's see what is next. This is my ColourPop lip liner. So it is getting itty bitty, and so if you have not been following along, the black line there is where the product will pretty much end. I know that from a previous ColourPop lip liner that I have panned, and so I only have that much more to go, and at a certain point somewhere around here, this like product will just fall out and I won't be able to sharpen it anymore. So I'm hopeful, and y'all can pray to the panning gods for me, that I end up being able to finish this by the end of the year. I'll have my graphics popping up with everything, so you'll be able to see how I've jumped as far as how much I've been able to use up, but I'm still loving the formula of the ColourPop lip liners. I'm still loving this color. I actually feel like I'm going to kind of miss this once it's gone, but let's see. Last month we were at 4.76, and now we're at 4.33, so I did use up 0.43, which has kind of been an average for me for uses. I do use this every single day I do my makeup. I did my makeup somewhere between 20 and 22 times this month, depending on what other products I was using, so but I pretty much would always tack on this lip liner. Let's see here. Oh, here's some good stuff. So the next item that I have my progress on is my Dallas blush. So this is Benefit Dallas. This is the original formula from 2017. So I had a goal of using this 10 times every single month. Again, because I was using a lot of cool tones, I actually only used this 9 times this month. I know, shame on me. But the previous month, I used it 12 times, so it all evens out. But very excited. I ended up expanding the pan. This is repressed, so I do have some other little flecks of pan showing, but I think that's mainly because just it's repressed, so it's not completely solid the whole way through, but I'm still loving this color. I actually have this on today, and then I also have this blended into my eye look a little bit as well. So still loving this. Where were we? We were at 6.6 last month. We're at 6.3 now, and I'm just weighing the pan. So I used it 9 times for 0.3 grams of usage. I'm not going to finish this by the end of the year, and I'm okay with that, but this is definitely going to be a focus for next year, and you'll probably see me be able to pan this entire thing next year, which will be an amazing accomplishment. So, oh, my lipstick. I am having so much trouble with this. This is the Marc Jacobs infamous lipstick, and I'm having trouble reaching for this. And again, I keep using the excuse of I was wearing a lot of cool tones, so I was reaching for my pinky lipsticks over this one. It's kind of a deeper kind of like warm rose shade, but I did make a new mark. It's pretty much every 2 months I'm able to make a new mark on my graphic and on my panning journal, but I really was not reaching for this. So this one's going to be short and sweet and kind of not as exciting, but we were at 40.73 and now we're at 40.69. So I used 0.04 grams of this lipstick. So it is what it is, but this is something that I will definitely have to focus on next year, and maybe when I'm wearing more warmer tones in like the summer, I'll really buckle down with this one. But still, it's my next oldest lipstick, so I'm getting some use on it. I've really fallen in love with this next one, and it almost made me purchase more of these during the Sephora savings event, whatever they call it now. But this is the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick in Strapless. My goal is to use this 10 times per month. I'm trying to use it up by the end of the year. Now the product is getting loose in the component, like I had to push it back down in there again. Sorry, getting a telemarketer call, but I had to push it back down in there again, so I kind of have to be careful winding it up. But this is where we're at, and again, you'll see in the B-roll, you'll see a little bit more of a close-up, and my graphic will pop up with the comparison. But I really enjoyed using this in my cool tone looks of buffing it into the outer corner. I really love using this as a lower lash line, so I actually have kind of fallen in love with this, even though I'm not an eyeshadow stick type person. So when you're forced to use certain things in your collection, you might actually end up loving them. But let's see, last month we were at 7.01. Again, I used it 12 times. We're now at 6.92, which is 0.09, which is less weight than I used last month when I used it 10 times, which again, I guess it depends on how much I'm using of this, how much I'm going in with it. I know if I put it straight on my skin and buff then, of course, I use less than if I'm going in on the product with a brush and picking up more, but still, I don't mind. I love this. I would love for this to be an empty by the end of the year, but I'm also not like rushing it or overusing it because I actually really do like this product. The last item for my progress before we go into my roll-ins is my e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter. Complete brain fart on that one. But I had been tracking this since the beginning of the year and also tracking this through Deck of Panning. And so when I rolled it back into this project last month, we were up here and now we are down here. That's a pretty big jump, and I was still only using like 2 dips in for this product. But I guess the bottom of the tube gets smaller, and so maybe that's why I'm using up more. But overall, I'm still loving this. This will be gone within November. It's getting hard to get product out of there, so I'm probably going to end up decanting this into another packaging. If you want to see that as a short, let me know, but otherwise I'm just going to go ahead and scoop everything out of it and put it in another container. But I really do love this product for mixing in with my foundations. So last month when we rolled it in, it was at 113.44. I did use it 20 times. We're now at 109.94. So I did use 3.5 grams of this product. So again, it goes relatively quickly if you're consistently using it. But that one I'm excited to be an empty for the end of the year because I really thought that that was going to roll into 2024 with me. So we have our 3 rollouts, so now we get to do our 3 roll-ins. So basically I'm doing kind of replacements except for my bronzer because I have my other bronzer in my Deck of Panning. So my replacement for my primer is going to be the next oldest primer in my collection, and this is the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer. This is the makeup grip one, so almost like the dupe for the Milk Makeup one. And I had bought this, and then like 2 weeks later, e.l.f. released the Jelly Pop again. And so like I thought this was going to be my only primer until the end of the year, but then I ended up getting more of the e.l.f. But I still love this one also, so I think that this is a really good option. So this is brand spanking new. It's a little bit kind of pinched in because I got all the air out of there, but otherwise I have not used this. It is brand spanking new. So we are rolling this in at, so something else I'm going to have to get used to, puppy dogs, is my camera overheating. So it cut me off in the middle of talking about my primer. I have no idea where I was, so I had to turn it off and let it cool down. But I love this primer. It's a good option at the drugstore. I have used up one of these in the past, so I know that I like it. And so the goal will be to finish this up. And I think I did say my weights, but we're starting at 39.17. So the next roll-in is my replacement for my foundation, and I am rolling in very reflective packaging, but this is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Radiant Lifting. So I have used up another one of these, which while my camera was cooling down, I actually did eat something, so I have no lip product on right now. So my lip product is gone, so I figured might as well put on some of my Project Pan lipstick. But this is the Synchro Skin Radiant Lifting. So I did use up the regular Synchro Skin foundation 2 years ago, last year. I'm not sure when, but this is the Radiant one. So this is a little bit more dewy or more illuminating, and I'm already mixing in this stuff. So it's actually what I have on my face today. I am a little bit shiny. I didn't blot down at all before I filmed, and so I do have a lot of my oils coming through, but so far I really do like this. I liked the other one. I've not been let down by Shiseido products, so I'm super thrilled. I think I've used this one time prior to rolling this in, and then I used this morning. So this only has 2 uses on it. I marked it all the way at the top. We're starting at 127.95 for the foundation. I'm not going to finish it by the end of the year. This is going to roll into 2024 with me, but since it is my next oldest foundation, I want to go ahead and get started on that one. So I did pick that one up in September of last year. So this is only a year old, and so I want to be able to get that used up in the next couple months. And then my last roll in is I'm going to roll in my e.l.f. Camo Hydrating Concealer. So I have this in light peach, which is a skin tone match for me, but not a brightening shade. So I'd probably want like a fair peach if I did my brightening shade, but I already have windows all over this thing. I'm really surprised at how quickly this starts to actually like go down and get used up. You'll have to stay tuned for my buys and buys, which goes up on the 14th, which is my empties and my haul, because you will see what I brought in concealer wise, but I do want to finish this one up. It's the one that's open, it's the one I'm using, so I do want to finish this before I crack into my other concealers. But basically, goal to use this up. We're at 28.77 is where we're starting with this, and I possibly could finish that by the end of the year, but we will just have to see. So on to this video, I do like to also go over my Pan That palette for the year, and I am doing the ColourPop Give It To Me Straight. The inside of this palette is not going to look very different. I do have my 4 shades picked out, and then this shade down here, I do have that as my hairline powder, which I've been using quite a bit, and I can show you the big old pan in there. And my other things that are, my other shades that are in the quad. So this might not look a whole lot different otherwise. I have repressed the cream shade. I do have the goal to finish this entire shade by the end of the year. I set my eyelid primer with this every day, but these 2 maroon shades up here, I think I'm having a reaction to the pigments. So every time that I would use these shades, I would end up getting like red, puffy, inflamed skin on the outer V, because that's typically where I would pack that shadow. And a lot of times I would use those shadows together, so I'm kind of not willing to risk to use them again separately to see which one is doing the damage. I thought maybe I was putting my retinol or my like my actives too close to the outer corner of my eyes, but I stopped using the 2 maroon shades, and I've been using my other skincare products, and I have not had an instance of that like inflamed skin. And like it hurts, like it gets swollen and puffy and red, and the only thing that I can put on it is basically like Aquaphor or like the CeraVe healing ointment type stuff. I basically slather my eyes in that whenever I go to sleep, and so I'm not willing to continue to go through that. So I am going to actually roll the 2 maroon shades out of my kind of Pan That palette, and I am not going to worry about hitting pan on those. It is not worth my skin. It is not worth, you know, irritating that close to my eyes, and it's not worth the discomfort that I end up having from it. So that would mean that technically I do have pan in every shade in that palette, apart from the ones that I will not use. So from kind of here on out, it's going to be updating on if I expand pans, and then also if I hit my final goal of finishing this cream shade up, which I kind of feel like that is going to happen, because like I said, I did repress that again. But that is the Pan That palette portion. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move all my stuff out of the way, which is going to make noise, so I'll cut that out. But let me pull up my spreadsheet, and that way I can screen record on my iPad and show you guys how I do my project panning tracking. All right, so I am on my Google Sheets, and this is under my makeup inventory. A tab that was hiding all the way over here to the side is my 2024 Project Pan spreadsheet that I put out there for you guys. So of course, if you have gone into the shareable link, which is posted down below, you will be able to, of course, have access to all these different tabs, but I want to show you how I set this up. So it looks a lot similar to what I am setting up for the rest of my inventory, and that's mainly so that I can copy and paste my products into these sheets and I don't have to reformat things. So of course we have our line for our products, our cost, our purchase date, and our panned date. So at the end of the year, whenever I roll in all of my 10 products for 2024, I'm going to put my end of the year weights. So December 31st, when I weigh all my products, that's going to go in that column. So it's a little bit deceptive as far as where you're weighing your products. So January would be you are weighing your products at the end of January. So basically, you know, we're looking at the difference of what you did for that month, not weighing products at the beginning of January for that month. Hopefully that makes sense. But I have every single month of the year all the way to end of the year. So your end of the year, so from like my new foundation, my end of the year weight will roll over into, of course, my starting weight for next year. Now I have the same exact categories down below, so those are the completed products. And again, I am basically just copying like rows. Yeah, it's the rows. I'm copying the whole row and pasting it down into the completed category. Let me go over to my actual spreadsheets that I use, and you guys can see that I have my products over here. Let me scroll all the way over. So my products, my cost, my purchase date, my pan date, of course, my hopeful thinking of when I will actually pan things. And you'll see like my paint pot has been rolled in the entire year. Everything else that's grayed out, that is showing me when I rolled in the product. So it did not have a weight in this project until I rolled it in. So I do that all the way down, so it should look like stair steps. So these are the 3 roll-ins that we're doing right here. Now the way that I am able to organize my weights and my usage and, you know, spit those numbers out to you guys so quick is that I have my new weight, and then in my parentheses I have the usage and the weight difference. So that's how I end up being able to pull those figures up very quickly. So basically, if I'm looking at my completed, I also kind of off to the side when a product is completed, I will go ahead and I'll type in just the total number of uses. Again, just so I can kind of regurgitate it to you guys, but also I can look back and see how long it took me to use up a product. And again, this will look like a little bit of stair step, but of course there's some items that were rolled in and only kept in for a couple months, like the Catrice True Skin Concealer. That was only kept in for a couple months here. So that's how I end up organizing everything. At the end of the year, I can kind of look at what is my total that I've been able to use up in project panning. And actually, I need to put my dates in here because I did finish those up at the very end of the month. So to kind of look at this, let's say that I used up the Laura Mercier pencil. So I would highlight that whole row, I would cut it out of the top, I would paste it down at the bottom, and then that would be my next empty that I could add on to my rows. Now, of course, I'm not going to do that because that thing will be here forever. So that is how I organize my spreadsheets. That is how I track my usage, my differences in weights. And so when I'm creating my graphics, when I'm creating my kind of tiles for Instagram, I'm able to pull the numbers right off of this spreadsheet, and I'm not constantly sitting there doing the math to see how much product I ended up using up. So this is the way that I track everything. Hopefully this little bit helped you guys understand a little bit better how I am, or how to utilize that last spreadsheet on the last tab that is on there. Again, if you are looking for a deeper explanation about how I do my inventory and all that, I will link that video up in the eye and down below, along again with my link to my Google Sheets. Again, I have it where it's read only, so copy and paste those spreadsheets into your own, and make sure that you're copying the formulas with it, because I do have all of the formulas plugged in. A couple of you guys have done your inventory since I did that last video, and I am super thrilled that you're getting some use out of that. But you guys will have to tell me what you think of the new camera. Like I said, I like it that it is better quality, it's smaller, but still, stopping halfway through a video because the camera overheats, I'm gonna have to get used to that or figure out how to kind of circumvent that. So we'll see what I can do. But tell me what you think. Give me any feedback as far as how's the sound, how's the picture quality. Tell me what you think. But of course, be kind, because there's only so much that I can do with what I'm working with. But I do appreciate you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this update for basically October usage of my project pan. I am doing so well and looking forward to this last stretch to the end of the year. I'm gonna remind you to do all the things. Make sure to go ahead and do a thumbs up on this video. Hit that subscribe button to come back for more project panning, eyeshadow, conscious consumerism. I want to make a series out of the let's talk about it type of subjects, and I do have one planned for November, so make sure to stick around for that. And of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you're doing with your project pan. I love the conversations that we have down there. I have developed quite a lovely little community over here on my channel, so I appreciate all of you, and I'll catch you in my next one.